But as of December 2020, our total national debt was $27 trillion. Anybody know how many millions a trillion is? A trillion is 1 million million. So we are 27 million in the whole as of December. It's about 30 trillion now. So in just a matter of 6 months, we've added 3 trillion to it. But that debt is formulated here in this. I hope you can see this. I tried to make this font a little bit bigger before the presentation today. But what I show here is the last 10 years. You've got a table here. You've got from 2011 to 2020. The middle column, you've got deficit. Let me explain to you the difference between a deficit and a debt. The deficit is how much money the government goes in the hole every year. So last year, if you look at this, you'll see the deficit for last year is $3.7 trillion. So the government borrowed $3.7 trillion last year. That's the deficit. But when you add up all those individual yearly holes, you end up with the total debt. So the deficits add up to the debt. That's the difference. That's how that works. The middle column is the deficit each year in trillions. So for example, in 2011, we went in the hole $1.3 trillion. 2012, $900 billion, and so on. We get down to 2020 where we're at 3.7. The far right table is interest that we paid on the total debt that year. Not on the deficit, but on the total accumulated debt. $423 billion is what we paid in interest. That's 423,000 million we paid in interest in 2011. And you go on down and you get to 2020 at 547 billion. All right, but here are the numbers that I want you to see at the bottom. Of that 27 trillion, we have taken out 12.3 trillion in the last 10 years. That means we have borrowed almost half of our entire debt in the last decade. And in that time, we paid 4.9 trillion in interest. In other words, about $5 trillion we paid in interest. What this means is that 40% of what we borrowed in the last 10 years is money that we needed to pay interest on the money that we had borrowed. So we're in the unthinkable position of borrowing to pay interest now. By the way, it took us 200 years to get to 6 trillion. And in 10 years, we doubled that to 12. 40% of the debt is interest on the debt. Let that sink in for a moment. How long can that go on?